Well, hello everybody. Man, if you can hear my voice, goodness gracious, woo, I have been hit. Man, I don't get sick very much, but as you can tell, I'm just trying to like gut this out because right now I'm feeling like I think it was about like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I got a little bit of sinus stuff going on. Like I got some sinus pressure and just sinus headaches and all that. And over time, like 2, 3 days ago, boom, like I got full on in my face, and I'm just like, oh, is this like what allergies feels like? I hope not, man. But I'm getting smacked, so I'm not feeling that good. You're like, why is Sam wearing a sweatshirt? It's not that cold outside. It's actually pretty warm, mid 70s, perfect weather, man. But I am because I got a little cold, so not feeling that good. I'm gonna push on through that. I don't know how long I'll be able to last with my voice and coughing. Sorry, but the show is gonna go on. The show must go on because I've made a commitment to myself and to you guys to uh, get out information, accurate information, new information every week on Wednesday. Last 3.5 years, what's it been, 4.5 years now? It's going to keep going. And so train's moving. So don't let letting the cough get in the way. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about um, some key things to consider between now and the end of the year, because now we're hunkering down into fall. And I keep beating this drum. Fall is like to me the best time to buy a house. And if you've been watching me for any length of time, you've probably heard me say that. And it's not the best time to find the most options, but it's the best time to find the best deal, in my opinion. So I think you know me at this point. I'm not one to suggest buy now, regardless. Like if this is more of a family type situation, if this works for you, then do this. But I will say that there are generally less people that are selling their houses right now, but there are less people that are also looking to buy. So the demand is going to stay. It's still high, but right now it's going to go down a little bit into the end of the year just because there's just not as many people wanting to move right now. So does that lead to the question I was asking before on the title of this video is the market falling? And I'll show you some data and to give you some idea of like what's happening right now. But you'll see too that that data has proven to be pretty consistent over a lot of years. And so I'll show you that here in a minute. But this is the time. If you are looking to move between now and next year, man, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You're getting the real me. I mean, there's no not me right now. Um, I think between now and January is a great time to do that, because what's happened I've found is that in the last 2 3 months there has been still multiple offers on houses, and again I'm not talking about 2 years ago multiple offers. I'm talking about not 12 offers, but now we're talking 3, 2, 4, and I think that that itself is going to it might concern some people because gosh, interest rates are up. I don't want to do that. Pay it for a house and overpay or overpay sometimes, but overbid. I will say that that doesn't happen as much. It's happening, but not as much. So what that usually means is that, so for example, if you got a house that's 600, there might be a better chance that you'll get it under 620, 630, 610, even at asking price, or even at this point under asking price. I've seen some houses even first part of this week where there are houses that I think 3 4 months ago, or maybe about 5 months ago, would have gotten multiple offers, and they're sitting there. 650, 550, or saying, or they just got one offer. So that's a pretty interesting thing, and that's kind of indicative of kind of the trends of the fall season. And I don't want. I mean, here's the thing: when you're wanting to buy, you're looking at the house itself, but you're also looking at interest rates. And right now, the interest rates are still between 7 and 8, generally speaking. I mean, that of course, talk to your lender to find out for sure. But the point is, 7 to 8% is very normal. And I'm actually going to show you what the. I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional. um, this is past interest rates from the last, what is that, 45 years, 50 years. Look at, you see all the rates have gone down, 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 down. Look at the last year. Boom. Shot up from 3, just over a year ago, year and a half ago. Now we're in the 7s range, 7.18, 7.23. That's not everybody either. And you'll find some that are, I think that seems a little low, honestly, but it's in that range. It's going to be 7.5, probably a lot of times in that range. So people don't want to spend, $4,500 a month for a $500,000 house necessarily. They don't want to do that, but that's what's happening right now. But it's cooling off the interest of the masses. What you've got now is people. Can you see this? You can see this, yeah. What you've got now is people that, and you can feel free to comment below if you have any questions, or if you have anything you want to discuss. But what you see now is people that have been looking for a while, that do still want to buy, or they have to move, or they're choosing to move, whatever, but they're being more picky. So you're still seeing people see houses, like showings there's still active showings, like a listing I just got put up about 3 days ago, or 5 days ago. The activity was decent, pretty good for what I would expect in this time period. Not as many people making offers, though. And again, it's back to the discretionary. Is this worth it? Is it not worth it? And I say they have the time. They think they have the time to make that decision quicker, or they've more time to make a decision, as opposed to a year or two ago, where it's like, you see a house, you got 9 seconds. What do you want to do? You missed it. That's not really what's happening now either, to a certain degree, but you still have to kind of be prepared, kind of be on your toes, because people are being picky, but when they're being picky, they are picking the house with intensity when they find the one that they want. Again, not 2 years ago intensity, but still, like, don't think you can lowball every house. It's not like that right now. What you see, if you like a house, good chance that's the only one like it on the market right now. Maybe not even just in the neighborhood, like, in a certain section of a city, Virginia Beach or Williamsburg or whatever, So just keep in mind the fact that the interest rates are a big driver of how much you have to be aggressive to get a house right now. Right now, I mean, shoot, let's just make a scenario up. Let's say rates go back down. Let's say those rates are now 7.5, 7.25. Let's say they go down to 6, 5.5. Sounds like unheard of 2 years ago, but let's say that happens. Well, there are a lot of people on the sidelines waiting to jump. And if that happens, even if it happens, goes into the 6s, there are going to be some people that are going to be willing to flex those buying muscles. And I would say that the chances of getting a deal are going to be much less because of that idea. So make sure you're staying in touch with your loan officer, because they're the ones checking the market to see, okay, what's going on right now. I think, presidential elections, often you see the trends there. Presidential elections, the ends of, like, the presidential election year, you'll often find rates that end up going down. Now, you can have many theories as to why that happens, but it happens a lot. And so there's a decent chance that happens again. Now, there are other factors at play right now that are still kind of being washed through after the last 3 years of low interest rates. And so there's still that. I'm not necessarily convinced that they will drop just for that reason, because I think that they still might be needing some cooling to do. But if they drop, and again, historically speaking, there is a precedent that implies that there might be a chance that this happens, a good chance that this happens into the next year. If that moment, if the rate drop coincides with the spring market, I don't think we're going to have a run like we had 3 years ago or 2 years ago, but we're going to have some competition in our hands, because people are going to want to get after the house that they want, and they're going to see it as, oh my gosh, the prices are still going up because the rates just went down. I've got to be aggressive and get the house that I want now before something else happens, or before the prices go up even more. So that there's a real chance that this happens. The real chance that this happens. And again, if you have just started watching, please forgive my voice. It's been a couple days, man. It's been rough. I'm getting smacked in the face, but we're going to keep pushing forward. So, just keep that in mind when you're considering buying between now and the springtime. It's easier to move in the springtime for a lot of people, namely because of school district, getting out of school, the transition. I don't want to move twice. I get all of that. And that's why more people want to move in the springtime, especially here. Spring. School districts are a big deal in a lot of the parts of Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, big, Chesapeake, big, Yorktown, big, Williamsburg in some parts. Anyway, so that's there are more people that will want houses in that at that time period. I'm not necessarily sure how much the government is using that time period to determine when to drop rates. There's a lot of things they're not thinking about. When First Colonial High School gets out of school, they're not thinking like that. So there could be a little bit of a coinciding of market here to where I'm a little bit not worried is a little bit of a strong word, but could be in that category of a little bit worried of how aggressive it might need to be. You might need to be to get the same house as you could now. Now, the next question is, people often say, well, you can always refinance. I'll just buy the house now and refinance. You hear that? I've listened to Dave Ramsey, I think, even today, talk about that. That's true. That is in theory true. You don't know, though, when the rates are going to drop. I don't know when the rates are going to drop. They might not drop. We've been thinking they've been dropping for a year. They haven't done it. Or 6 months, 8 months. They haven't dropped. So I would just say, hold on to that loosely, that concept of like when rates will drop, and I would not assume that rates will drop or go up in a certain time period, because a lot of times when people think that they nailed it, they think they guessed it correctly, they're wrong. And so it's a tough thing to guess. What I do know, though, is that between now and January, even if rates go down, there aren't as many people that are prepared to move right now because of the time period that it's in. Another reason why I say even if rates go down, it might be a good time now, between now and the end of the year, to get that house. Please know that I am not telling you need to buy right now. I cannot stand when I hear people say, like, you got to do this now. It's not what I'm saying. There are factors involved, though, that make me feel a certain way, and those are certain things that I hope that make sense to you, to kind of get where my mind's at right now, saying, okay, we bought around Thanksgiving, so this is kind of a thing for me. And there won't be cheaper in the springtime. I'll tell you that right now, unless something outside of the real estate market happens, because I'm telling you right now, I don't see the expectation is the prices are going to crash. The prices are crashing. Well, number one is we are in a cyclical time period where the prices do sag. Crash is a different story. It's not happening. I don't see it happening. House prices are still creeping up, and that's kind of how it's normal. Normal is 5, 6, 7%. So, or 3 or 4, whatever. They kind of creep up. They don't shoot up, but they usually don't go down. But in the grand scheme of things, they still kind of do this. Oh, I can't even see in the camera. There we go. Kind of this notion a little bit. It's but there are other variables beyond just the time period, the time of the year, but that's a big one. One of the drawbacks, though, if you're looking for a house that has 4 bedrooms or more, there are less of those usually in the fall, and it's one of the reasons why you'll see median sales prices. And I'll show you what the median sales prices are right now. How do I stop? Oops, do that, and we will share this. I want to show you the prices in Virginia Beach right now. 425 median sales price. Okay. Median sales price is not average sales price. It is like the middle of all the prices in Virginia Beach. Okay. So that can mean a lot of different things. It does not mean that house prices are necessarily falling. It means that there are more cheaper houses potentially that are being sold, but it doesn't mean that the house prices are necessarily falling. The reason is because, to me, this is my guess, and I think I'm right. I could be wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, comment in the thing. I'm all about talking about this. But if you have questions about this, let me know. Like, is this right? I think that because, like we're talking about before, the cyclical element of the school districts and moving in and out, there are more 4 and 5 bedroom houses that are being sold in the spring time period for the reason of what we just said. And so if that happens, then usually that means that there are less of the same type in the fall. And the 4 bedroom and up price or houses are usually a little bit more expensive. So, houses that is, 600, they might still list it higher in the fall. It just might not sell as quickly because there's less competition or buyers in that range. But my point is that just looking at the time periods of like between now and the end of the year and here and the end of June, um, I think you'll find that there are more 2 and 3 bedroom houses sold in the fall proportionate to the springtime. Is that a good way of saying it? So what happens then? More townhouses, more, like smaller single family houses, proportion gets sold in there. So what does that do? It affects the median sales price. And here's Mr. Ed Smoke. Cool. Hey, we bought an I'll continue. We bought a new build townhome in Virginia Beach. How do these typically do in appreciation here? 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,400 square feet. Okay. I'm not sure which spot you're talking about, but there aren't too many in Virginia Beach right now. I don't think there's nothing in Spence Crossing that's that size. Maybe over near North Landing. Anyways, they're fine. What I find is you usually are paying more for the newness of the house. Once it's not new anymore, there's just less demand for the same house at the same price. However, at the same token, it's still going to gather appreciation in relation to the rest of the market. So I'm not saying it's like, oh gosh, no appreciation, but there's a little bit of that shine that once you move into a new house, it gets affected a little bit, So if you keep it up, it might not even matter. But generally speaking, it depends also on how many phases there are. As I usually see quicker growth. Builders like to push value. They love to push value. House is 500. Let's go 515, 515, 522, 5. They love doing that. So, and that's what helps with getting you different comparable sales too. So, yeah. Which neighborhood? Well, you don't have to tell me the neighborhood, but yeah, I think in general it's fine. I think buying in Virginia Beach in general is to me a good idea compared to other cities. Not all cities, but some other cities and other parts of different cities, but depends on school districts and all that. But that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I'm helping someone build, work with a new construction in Suffolk right now, and there's a lot of good value in new construction. A lot of good value in new construction. You can well, you can build the house to the certain general specs that you want it. Depending on the price range, custom house, $2 million, you can do pretty much whatever you want. $500,000, you're going to be getting some options. You pick the options that you want, But the point is that I do like what new construction can bring somebody. It's not my personal preference, and it's not that it's a bad decision. It's just a different decision because I like older houses. But I'm starting to kind of come around. I understand why the new construction dynamic is a thing, just kind of telling you what my mind is. But anyway, but still a big fan of Suffolk right now. New construction or not, kind of liking it. Prices in that side are pretty great. You just got to deal with the drive, the rest of the town. But if you're going to be in like Langley Air Force Base, the peninsula, it's awesome. So anyway, what was I talking about before? Talking about median sales price. So I'm sitting here looking at the screen. I should be looking at that. Okay. So you're seeing that drop there. I see that. Can you even see my mouse? You can't see my mouse, can you? I'll just zoom in a bit more. There we go. The one on the far right there. You see that? It's that 425. Okay. So my prediction at the time, a couple months ago, a month ago, was we get down into the four. I think I need to go back and look at the video. I think I said 14s and then kind of correct itself, kind of like the way that every other year has been. The question is really how far down this number is gonna go, and if it even makes a difference as far as what a house. Like if you want a $500,000 house, it's not going to be 450 because of this graph. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough. I would not suggest looking at Kellam High School District. Okay, cool. Yep. All right. Very cool. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest. It's tempting to look at those types of charts and make large, widespread decisions based on them. Like I said before, the difference between the median sales price could be just the fact that different house styles are being sold in different time periods. So, man, I'm pretty excited about how my throat's feeling right now. So I'm just letting you know, getting the raw evening tonight. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I can last a little bit longer. Uh, anyways, what I wanted to do in addition to all this was first of all, if you guys have any additional questions or where you're watching from, let me know. I'm curious as to where you guys are located. Love talking about this area to anybody and anywhere that they are. So let me know where you guys are. I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you guys, your patience with me and my voice. It has just been something. So, what I wanted to talk about, in addition to what we've said so far, is with the prices going up, I'm still all about finding those bang for buck spots. So I think, kind of going back to what I've been saying before, is, man, there are some nooks that can really work. If you're a little bit worried about price, there are some nooks that a house might just sit just long enough to where you can snag it, and you're saving a $15,000, $10,000, and all of a sudden, like, oh man, if that would have been listed in the springtime, you would probably spend another 20,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of thing. And Brigadoon, big deal. I mentioned Brigadoon a lot in Virginia Beach. I was helping someone get a house in there under 400, 392, I believe. And yeah, 392. And now you're in the same house size. That's going to be 420 right now, 415. So you can find those little nooks, those little, those kind of gaps in the market where you find the right neighborhood, the neighborhood that might not be seen as the 10 out of 10, everybody wants that neighborhood, but it's really, really cool, really, really good. You get that house in that neighborhood that's a little bit discounted. That's gold. That's in this price range. And I'm sorry, this price range in this market. That's gold, because not everybody's ready to pounce on every house right now. Especially right now, not everybody's wanting to do a project. And now projects can mean different things. I'm not talking about like a full rehab. I mean, just like carpet. Does it smell weird? Fix it, paint it, get a house with some nice high cost replacement stuff already done, like the roof, the HVAC system, get all that stuff knocked out, and you get yourself something that maybe just put some carpet and paint down, and you just got yourself a good price on a house. So I do think Brigadoon still, I'll show you on the map, but Brigadoon, big fan. I think that I say, generally speaking, Suffolk is an awesome spot for this. So we're talking about, what are we talking about? Where are we talking about? Look at this. Mose. No. Okay. So Brigadoon's right here. Acredale. There's Albright. There's Brigadoon. I keep talking about Brigadoon. Right in here. And right off of Kimsville Road. Love the location. It's very convenient. It's accessible to stuff. It's great. So 4s, 450, 375 can happen. So here, I'll just drop this here so you can see. This is Brigadoon. These are going to be closer to 5, some of these, but there's different parts of Brigadoon. But I mean, look at this. It's great. This would be 600, maybe in Little Neck, or more. So you're getting kind of a deal here. This is Lake James. I'm sorry. Could be losing a little bit of my voice. But that's a great spot for, what was I saying? Man, great spot for the price gap that I'm talking about. Now, going back to the map, I'm going to show you over in Suffolk. So Suffolk has got, I mean, really, to be honest, I feel like, I don't like when people say to be honest. It's like, are you not being honest every other time you say something? But Northeast Suffolk over here, you're talking 5 and 6 for a house that you might have to pay $650 and $750 over Virginia Beach. Save $100,000, save $100, save $75,000, save $125. You're saving $800 a month. At this point, close to Harborview, close to the interstates. I'm a big fan. So newer houses too. If you want something newer, I still would focus on Suffolk a lot. Chesapeake's still fine, but you're paying Chesapeake prices, like school district prices, as opposed to the Suffolk area where there's just a little more extra space, a little more extra deal. I just think you can get a little bit more for your money. And it's actually not that far. I mean, I full disclosure, I don't live there because it's too far for me. But if you're okay with the extra 15 minutes, it's not that bad. 20 minutes, maybe. It depends on the traffic, depends on where you are. Be close to the interstates for sure. But Burbage Grant, great neighborhood where we at right here. This neighborhood, great. A lot of people that are getting stationed at the what am I saying? The Coast Guard over here. A lot of people in the Coast Guard end up buying in Burbage Grant. Have friends that did that exact thing, So this and that you can get houses in there in the fours, pretty easily. So houses built in the 90s. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, kind of that new-ish contemporary style. Like you see that where the as you walk into, let's just use this house as an example. So this one right here. So okay. So you see, all right, this tree. Okay. Well, see that arch right there? You see, as you walk in, I know what floor plan that is. Big open entryway. So you find those types of open, like walk in, big area type of thing going on. Um, uh, in Burbage Grant, and so it's just a little bit more open. So if someone wants a more open type of thing, they don't want the 60s boxy type of house. This is a good spot to consider in that 450, 500 price range. So big fan of there. Also a big fan of Great Bridge. Um, zoom on down here. Now Great Bridge, it says Great Bridge there. Great Bridge is a pretty large area, but if you're okay with a bit older, like 60s houses, this is a spot that I'm a big fan of. And also some 80s. Like there's a lot of development that happened in the Great Bridge area, Great Bridge, Hickory, Grassfield. So you have a lot of, they call them Great Bridge specials. If you've not heard me talk about that before, these, let's just say, for example, these in here, these are about 400, right in here. And you see a lot of these. See this, the ditch. This is so Chesapeake. This is the most Chesapeake street ever. Look at this. Look at the drain, no curb, no nothing. It's like, how can you imagine walking down Long Avenue? But people do it, and it's because it's quiet. Like our neighborhood has no sidewalks, and so it's very normal. But this is a very common type of house. Great Bridge, those ranches, Great Bridge specials. These are going to be probably like 450, 475, 500. So I'm a big fan of this type because of the price you can get in the school district that you might want. The drawback here is that you're going to find that there's this older stuff, more work to be done on like the electrical systems, the cast iron pipes in a lot of these houses. Not to say that they're all going to go bad quickly, but you definitely have to be more aware of the chance of more older types of things that need to be replaced. And so if you like the style, I think you can get some great spots, because the reality is a lot of these school districts, the houses in here were built were built. They picked kind of the most prime spots and then grew out from there. So that's why you'll find a lot of these types of houses in. I'd say, oh gosh, they're at some of the most prime locations. Yeah, because they started there and grew out from there. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a spot I would consider as far as maximizing money. Other things like, so for example, if you like comparing between Great Bridge, Grassfield, and Hickory, I think cheapest of the three, Great Bridge is going to be the cheapest. And so I think, house in Grassfield might be 650. Same house in Great Bridge might be 625, 620, 630, So that little bit of a deal can help too. But, we're still talking in those school districts, you're talking mostly in the upper fours, but starting in the fives and sixes and going on up. So, and there's some great neighborhoods like in Great Bridge, like Ravenna, awesome neighborhood I did a video about in the sevens. Fantastic neighborhood that is close to a lot of like more. It's in the country. It feels like you're in the country, but you're not too far away from stuff either. So I guess I'll say definitely in this mindset, frame of mind between now and the end of the year, be focused on interest rates. Please keep that in mind when you're trying to buy, because they could go up. Number one, they could go down, and if they do go down, starting in the springtime, especially if the whole presidential election cycle is factored into it at all, then you're going to find not as much scarcity, because not everybody wants to sell still in the sixes interest rate price range. Not everybody wants to do that. So have low supply, higher demand again, based on people that are already looking. It's in the sevens price range and still haven't found something because they're kind of waiting. But now they're going to be more compelled to trigger. And people that are just coming out because they're like, hey, I was going to rent, now I want to buy. It's a little bit cheaper now. So this could really affect pricing. So I would suggest trying to get in. If you like a house now, get it before all that happens, if it happens. Now, again, this is where please talk to your loan officer to make sure you get the best information, because I'm the first to admit that I don't know everything, and rates could keep going up. We could be in the 12s. Who knows? But if they go down, I do think there's going to be a bump up in demand, and because of the low amount of houses on the market, it's going to potentially create higher prices still. So if you got anything, guys, have any more questions, let me know. I think I'm kind of my voice is kind of running out. I want to answer any questions if you have any beforehand, but I want to just encourage you, and if you are in the market looking somewhere coming from a different part of the country, different part of the world, just be vigilant. Use the tactics that we all are learned. Getting a house offer accepted, use them now, but just don't use them to the same extreme. You know what I'm saying? So, because some of those tactics still really work and are necessary to get the right house. And if you have any more questions, too, you can also email me. You can call me. You can text me. It might not be as easy to talk now just because of my voice right now. Depending on what time of the day you call me, but you can also email me too, and then also my website. You can browse houses. To be honest with you, my website's great. I'm not saying website's not great, but Redfin, I know I'm talking like, hey, you're talking to the competition. Reality is, Redfin tells you when a house is under contract. That's one thing I will say is just if you're looking for a place to look for houses and it's not my website, look at Redfin because you will see it says contingent or under contract or something like that. And Zillow does not. It doesn't. It takes a lot longer to do that. So you can get more up to date information on Redfin as opposed to Zillow, or you can look at my website. So anyway, if you have any more questions, please drop them now. But otherwise, I'm happy to talk and I'm grateful for you guys. And I will see you on the next video.